Hi, I'm Hans Hernke. I'm an actor and a producer. My interest in acting came when I was younger. My older brother went to Full Sail Film School, and he tried to get me on a couple Full Sail projects. And I started doing theater in high school. And there's a couple people I really have to give credit for the launch of my interest in acting, and it's my drama teacher Sarah Thomas and the fine arts teacher Judy Tome at the Masters Academy. They were a huge help to get my career going. And one cool thing about the school was they let me go out and do shoots during school hours, only if I had good grades. So without the help of that school, I would not have learned everything that I know now, being on set when I was younger. So that was like a huge inspiration for me to keep on going. For some reason, I'm always being casted in horror movies now. I've done some comedies, I've done some dramas, but it's always horror movies, and I always end up dying. And my family friends, they always want to see me be in something where I don't die, and I'm hoping to get more of those those roles. One of the favorite characters that I like to play was the character, the male cage victim in The Perfect House. He went through a lot of ups and downs, and while I was reading that character, I just realized he has an emotional roller coaster, and it was very challenging. I was wondering how I was going to pull this character off, and I remember the night before we were going to film all the torture scenes. Randy Kent, the co-director and producer, asked me, "Do you think you can handle what you're going to go through tomorrow?" And I told him I had it all mapped out in my head. I knew exactly what I was going to do, and sure enough, I pulled it off. And one thing I was really worried about was how am I going to cry on camera, because I've never done that before. So the scenes where I was being tortured, I actually visualized myself going through that scenario, and it just helped me get into that moment. There was other things I visualized too, and I literally just I started crying when Jonathan Tiersten was cutting my eyelids out and pulling the fingernails. I actually imagined that happening to me, and other things too. And it just really it sucked me into that moment so much that after the director yelled cut, I had so much energy that I just no, let's keep going, let's do more, let's do it again. So we do it again, and it was a very emotionally draining day. um, but people were surprised that you know there was people that were visiting the set that day, and they were older people, and I think we terrified them because they were watching all this happening before them. And even still, when I watch those clips from the movie, it's still sometimes I find myself getting sucked back into that moment again. It acting is it's a very powerful thing. My favorite actor, it would definitely have to be Johnny Depp, and one reason why is because he is definitely a real actor in the sense of being a chameleon and turning into all these different roles. And when you watch him on screen, you're not watching Johnny Depp, you're watching him play this really cool character. And of course, my favorite one is Jack Sparrow. Another good actor that I really look up to is Mel Gibson. He does some really, really good work. I really enjoy The Passion of the Christ. That was one of my favorite films that he directed, and of course Braveheart. And one reason why I look up to him is because he is an actor and a director, and he's more of an actor's director too. So he knows how to bring out performances in the actors. When I first came out here, as many people do, they have this vision of I just want to be an actor. I want to be a movie star. I want to be successful, but they don't open up their eyes to all the other possibilities that are out there. So they give it a shot and they, oh, I quit and go home. That's not me. What I did was I focused on other aspects of the industry. And one opportunity that came to me was a documentary called The Life and Passion of Christ. It was something I got off Craigslist. I wrote the director and the producer of the show, and he basically wrote me back and said, "Hey, would you like to come, meet me in my office and we'll talk about how you can help out on the project. So I came and talked to him, and he was very interested in working with me. And it was only an internship role, but doing that, I learned a lot about what it takes to produce. You got to do the casting, you got to do the budget, you got to find the locations, you got to do it. Just there's a ton of things you got to do. So I learned a lot just by being an intern in that office, and I've also learned that being a PA, I observe what the producers are doing and this like the notes they're taking and the things that they say, and that's how I learned to really do it. I really didn't have to go to film school to learn that. It's just mainly being on set, and that's one of the advantages of doing extra work too, is you can take advantage of that opportunity, get paid for it, and get fed, and listen to everybody around you and see what they have to say. I definitely prefer acting over producing because it's less of a headache, but sometimes producing can be a fun headache. It's not really bad stress. It's stress that's like, wow, I'm doing something, I'm being productive, and I'm helping create a really, really cool story. But acting, all you gotta really focus on is just creating this character and pulling it off the best of your ability to tell the story on screen. Okay, basically, when it comes down to it, you come out here and you have that huge dream of becoming a star and making lots of money. That dream quickly fades. So basically, I'm happy just being a working actor and a producer, and whatever can bring in money for me, I'm happy. I don't have to be a star. If that moment happens, if that door opens for me one day, awesome. If not, if I'm continuing to make independent films and work with my friend Randy, I'm totally happy with that. As long as it just keeps my bills paid and keeps my wife Lisa supported, then we're good, you know? So what draws me into different projects? Basically, it comes down to the people that I'm going to work with. I look at how people behave, and if they are not nice, if they're an a-hole, forget it. I'm not going to work with you, because one reason why is if they treat other people like that on my set, the mood of everybody is going to be totally different, and you're going to have more screw-ups and this and that. People are going to be nervous, and that's not how I run the show. So when I look at a project, I want to make sure I'm working with good people, people that treat others with respect, and everybody is sort of equal on my set. Even if you're a PA, I know that's on a big studio film. That's looked, oh, you're just a PA. Well, no, in my eyes, you're a special PA, because without your help locking down the set, somebody could be walking into your shot and costing you a couple $1,000s right there. I also look at the material too. I read over the script. I look over, what the characters are, what the story is, and if it's something that really appeals to me, if it's comedy, horror, romance, even even a biblical project too, I'd love to do it and just dive in. But most importantly, though, I think it's the people that you're going to work with. Are you going to be a family when you're working together, or are you going to be just egos are going to be flying over the place that you can't stand working with each other? And I've been in that situation before, and it's not fun. All right, here's one funny thing that happens on set. Every time I work with my friend Randy Kent, no matter what time of day it is, no matter where we are, there's always leaf blowers when we're rolling sound. And it happens when we're rolling sound. All of a sudden we hear the sound of a leaf blower. And I look at Randy, and Randy looks at me and says, never fails, man, never fails. I mean, it just, no matter where you are, even when we were out shooting the Jack Sparrow commercial out in this park, it was Sunday afternoon? The leaf blower starts going out. Then Randy and I were shooting a spec trailer for another film that we were trying to get off the ground. It was 5 or 6 o'clock at night. The leaf blower started going off next door, and we're just like, dude, this is like a never-ending curse. They always, even when we were in Buffalo shooting The Perfect House, it was freaking rainy and windy out, and we heard lawnmowers going. It's like, what? I don't know what it is with that, but that's one of my funny stories from working on set. Is it's always the leaf blower that ruins the thing. So, alright, some of my upcoming projects is an independent film called Shadow of the Monarch, directed by my good friend Randy Kent. The Aztec Box, which is a paranormal thriller type movie, that was directed by Serge Bronstein. Then there's another comedy called We Got Balls, and it's not what you think. It's a bowling movie. I played a one of the Orange County Jocks. That was a lot of fun. Um, I also got a couple projects I'm trying to finance too. One of them is a romantic comedy called 6 out of 7, which is going to shoot in Orlando, Florida, and I'm working on that with my producing partner, Scott DuPont. We already have Michael Winslow from all the Police Academy films attached. Richard Reel from Office Space is attached, and we have interested distribution. Now we just got to find the money. So that's gonna be hard. Then we have the Wizard Project too, which is a Christian version of the Goonies and Stand by Me, and we shot a spec trailer for it, and it turned out really really well. We got really good response from it. We're just trying to find money, which is the headache of producing. So I got a film in Orlando next month in April called Hidden Agenda. I'm sort of producing that, and I'm playing the lead character of Detective Matthews. He's sort of a jerk, kind of like Mark Wahlberg's character in The Departed. I kind of based his character off of Mark Wahlberg's character a little bit. The only thing I have to get rid of now is the New York accent because the whole film is set in Miami. So, move over, Horatio Kane. You got a new detective in town. There's a few people I really would like to thank for supporting my career and just being there at my side. And it's, my mom and dad. They've been with me since the very beginning. They supported my move out to Los Angeles and me doing the work while I was in school. My family, my older brother, my little brother, my sister, my wife, especially Lisa. She sees what I go through every day now, and she was actually one of the producers on one of my past projects, and she understands the workload and the stress that we go through to make a film. So I appreciate her support and her understanding towards what I go through every day, and that really means the world to me, and I love you for that. I also want to thank my best friend out here, Randy Kent, for all of his support, and his wife Patricia for always including me in projects that they have going on. And it's Randy has helped me out so much, and he has taught me a lot of things that I never knew about in this industry. So Randy, thank you so much for everything that you've done. I also want to thank Judy Tome and Sarah Thomas and Dolores Jones and all the friendly staff at the Masters Academy, the high school that I went to, where this whole inspiration for acting was born. I want to thank you guys too for just being there and praying for me and encouraging me when I felt like I wanted to quit, and it really means a lot, and I'll never forget you guys. Thank you. So to keep up to date on those projects, just visit my fan page. Just type in Hans Hernke on Facebook. From there you can see all my headshots and my resume and different clips of things I've done. There's a lot of on-set photos too. And I usually update it every week just on what's going on. Even when things are slow, I always have another little update. So feel free to check that out. And I have a YouTube channel as well. You just type in Hans Hernke and you can find it there. And I have all the different projects that I've done and little clips that I was involved in. That's all under my favorites and stuff like that. So feel free to check that out too. And you can always email me. Email is good because I get emails every day and I'll respond to them as quick as I can. So please email me as well. Thank you so much for your time and for learning about my career and what I go through, and I just appreciate you watching.